Everybody, I'd like to introduce myself. My name's Gina Whitaker. I'm the Education Guidance Advisor from the Gateway, which is the pre-applicant advice and guidance unit. With me today, I have two fellow mature students. I have Jeff Thompson. Jeff, would you like to unmute and just say a quick hello?
Yes, so hello. So I'm a third-year student studying cybersecurity.
Okay. And also with me, I have Shaquille Millington. Shaquille, would you like to unmute yourself and say hello?
Hello, everyone. I'm Shaquille. I study drama with QTS and I'm in my third year.
Brilliant. Okay. This session today is going to give an overview of what it's like to be a mature student, and it's to help you to settle into university life. We're also going to give you a few of our top tips as we go along, but we'll also be talking about our journey into higher education. So you can see that, you know, you're not the only mature student. You're not the only one who's thinking of considering going down this route. Okay, let's have just a little quick quiz. Some mature student facts and figures. Now, at the bottom of your screen, you should be able to see the chat function. And within the chat function, I want you to put in what the age of the oldest student you think has graduated from the University of Wolverhampton. And also, what percentage of students do you think are classed as mature? So if you want to have a go at putting those into your chat function, I will have a look and see what your answers are. What have you got so far? 43. Gula, sorry, you think 3068 is the oldest student? Is that 43 the oldest student or the percentage? You think, Gila, 75 you think is 70, 50, 60, 38, 81, 90, 75, 86. Brilliant. So that's some very good answers, actually. And I'm now going to give you the answer to those. Okay, the oldest student to graduate was actually 88. And 40% of students at the University of Wolverhampton are classed as mature. So actually, that's quite a high percentage, nearly half the students. So actually, you're not on your own as you think you are. And you will actually find that you've got similar concerns as to what your younger students will have. You'll find you'll have some things in common with your younger students. And you'll find you'll have life skills that you will bring into your studies and into the classroom that actually give you a little bit of an edge. Now, into the chat, what skills do you think you bring as a mature student? I'm just going to pull the chat. Okay, let's have a look. Life experience, yeah. Organisation, that's a brilliant one. Leah, life skills. Eve, organisation, yes. If any of you are parents on this session, you'll realise that you've had to have a lot of organisation. Nursing, coming into nursing with 15 years care experience, yes, you bring a lot of knowledge and skills with you. Work experience, yes, because academic life can be a bit about theory, but you've probably actually seen it in practice. I'm a dad, plenty of skills, definitely. Ability to negotiate, yes, that is a very good one, because you might be, if you're in group work, you might end up having to negotiate with your fellow students. What else have we got? Yeah, experiencing mental health and life care experiences. Yes. Anything else anybody would like to add? Leadership. Yes. Yes, Alyssa, I can relate to that one. Sometimes, and I think when you're in group work and you're feeling that perhaps it's lacking a bit of direction, and you feel that you need to take a little bit of leadership, confidence. Yes, you found yourself. As you mature, you tend to know who you are. Skills. Yes, so you bring some skills into it as well. Self-reflection. Yeah. Time management, studying, work, balance, getting it right. Enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is a good one because you'll need that to doing a degree is 3 years, or if you're studying part-time, it's 6 years. So you need that enthusiasm and motivation to carry you through. Lived experience, critical analysis, commitment, teamwork. There's loads of brilliant answers in there. So here's some of the things that I quickly came up with. And it's some of them that you mentioned. Team working with others. Budgeting, if you've perhaps been managing your household income. Negotiation, working to deadlines, juggling multiple aspects of your life. Now, this is particularly relevant if you are a parent or you are a carer. So what is it actually like being a student? So I'm going to ask my two fellow mature students with me today to give me their stories. Jeff, would you like to tell us about what you're doing and where you've come from?
So I'm what I call an extra mature student. So I've always worked in IT for about 25 years or so. I got up quite high. I was a service delivery manager, probably doesn't mean much. I was earning a good wage. However, I wasn't happy. I felt that I was just doing the work and making money for other people. There was nothing in it for me, and I wanted to do something different. Now, the career I wanted to do was teaching. Now, I left school. I wanted to go to university, but I also wanted to earn money, so I didn't do my degree. So I gave up a good paying job, a secure job because it's for HMRC, to do something I wanted to do and come back to university. Now, together with my wife and my children, I've got a young family. It was a big decision and it had multiple implications, financial and what have you. So I talked to them about it. I was very, very nervous because I class myself as an extra mature student. I thought, God, I'm going to go back to university. Everyone's going to be much younger than me. I'm going to have nothing in common with them. I'm out of it. Although I've got the IT experience, I don't really relate to younger people. I was really worried, really nervous, and to be honest, a bit scared. First day university, well, first couple of weeks, you go in there and you find all these disadvantages that you're worried about, concerned about. They're nothing of the sort. They're actually big advantages. So first of all, I went in and I've got life experience. I've been in IT before, so I know what the theory and the practical are. Yeah, I've budgeted. So, I did household budget. So I knew how to budget money, not blow my student loan on the first day, buy a new car. I knew how to talk to people, communication skills that I picked up. I knew how to hone myself and motivate myself to do all the work. The age was not an issue at all because you go in there and you're all there for one reason. You're there to do a course you want to do and enjoy. That's what binds you together. So it doesn't matter if you're 18 or 88, you're there for the same reason. And just because you're there for the same reason, you work together, you talk to each other. Unfortunately, I've got a bit of a nickname in the group as Grandad at the moment. I prefer father rather than Grandad because I've got the life experience. I've been in IT. So, people come up to me and say, what do they mean about this? And obviously the lectures are there to do all the theory part and all the good practice part. But I've seen it, done it, got the t-shirt, so I can give them a bit of help and a bit of advice. If they're struggling to set their day up, I can say, put 2 hours aside for this, 1 hour aside for that. Make sure you have your own personal time though, because it's very important that you don't just work all the time. And to be honest, it's the best decision I've always made. I mean, 4 years ago, if you'd asked me, I was really, really nervous. I wasn't sure I was doing the right thing. Now I know I'm doing the right thing. So I'm in the third year. I've already got my teaching placement for next year. So that's already set up. And it looks like I'll have a teaching job as soon as I finish that. So if any of you are out there thinking, I haven't got the time, I'm a bit nervous, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing, all your experiences, all your life skills hold you or put you in such a massive advantage that you don't worry about it. Do it. That's all I can say is do it. It's the best thing I've ever done. And I can quite confidently say it'll probably be one of the best things you've ever done as well. It's totally different. You go out from work, you go into an education, you've such a massive advantage, and you will come out and it's actually wonderful. I mean, I can really say just do it. Don't worry about all the fears and concerns. Yeah, there are people here to support you. I mean, if you ever want to have a chat with me, because I've been there, so I'm on UniBuddy or School Rep, just contact me and I can talk about it. And there are other people out there. I know Shaquille's on UniBuddy as well. Yeah, just contact us. But honestly, just do it. It's the best thing you'll ever do. And that's enough talking for me.
Shaquille, would you like to talk to us about your experiences about being a mature student?
Yeah, so for me, I think it's kind of a blend of what Jeff and you have already said. I think generally it's easier to navigate through the system and miss out some of the pitfalls that a non-mature student would make, such as mismanaging money or moving out or lack of organization or anything like that. So it's easy to navigate the system a bit better because you know yourself, as you've already said. You're a lot more confident in your speaking abilities, teamwork abilities, or you've been out in the field and you've been able to test a few things. So for me personally, I found university actually relatively easy compared to the working world. Because as some of you know, when you're in a job and you don't enjoy it, that's one of the hardest things to actually do. And coming to university, I don't think a lot of students actually realize how easy it is unless they've been in a proper 9 to 5 slog every day, not enjoying it. So university is actually quite a breeze, and it's quite a blessing actually for me personally.
Okay. Right, I'll have a little talk about my experiences as a mature student. I've had a very long work experience. I started off life working in the ambulance service, and I left school with just CSEs and O levels. I'm actually quite old, and I did my BTEC as a day release when I was in the service, and then I decided to take a break. I wasn't going to do any studying. No, that's it. I'm going to take 2 years and come back to it. Kind of ended up being 20 odd years. And in that meantime, I ended up living in Wales and Scotland. And eventually I came back to the West Midlands, and I found myself that not doing a degree, it was unfinished business. So I'd been looking at courses for a while, but I was working mother. I was working full time. It wasn't very easy for me to go and go to campus. So I was looking at the University of Wolverhampton's online distance learning course in business management. And I found my life skills have been resilient. That helped me throughout the course. Being an online distance learner, it's a good experience, but occasionally you don't get the answers straight away. So you have to be a little bit resilient in finding your own resolutions. Now, during my course, that was when I began to think about a change in direction. of my career. I'd been an administrator from the age of 19, and then as I was going through the course, I was doing outreach work for the university, and I decided to retrain then as a careers advisor. And this was part way through my course. So I did the daft thing, is that I did a careers advisor qualification. And then when I graduated, I then left, and I left the university for a while, and I did a full-time course as a postgraduate student doing careers guidance. So I've been a part-time student, but I've also had that full year being a full-time student where I had to manage my budget. I took out student finance, which I'm not particularly worried about at all. Did I find anybody treated me any differently on the courses? No. I was just Gina. And I think every student has the one particular aim. They've got this thing in their mind. They've got to pass their assignments. So that's an objective that they have to achieve. So no matter what your differences are, you will find that as a student you work to that one common aim as passing your assignments. And working with other people on your course, you do get to know people who are different from yourself, and they can offer a very different perspective on things, which makes your course interesting. I've also been a student during lockdown as well, and I found, because I was a mature student, I was able to adapt to a changing situation. And I actually did my master's dissertation during lockdown.
And that was, you probably find a lot of staff are panicking, and that's why there's not hundreds of messages. And like I was having, there was somebody in Fab, like the interpreters couldn't get into the meeting.
Laura, could you put yourself on mute, please?
Stuff like that. But I'm sure that last night that
Laura, could you put yourself on mute?
To select their own room. And that's what
I'll message her on the chat. 1 second.
Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. So that's what I found as a mature student, and coming back into the workforce, having a year out, I wasn't unemployed for very long. So I found that my postgraduate degree and my degree helped me get back into the workforce. Shaquille or Jeff, anything else you would like to add on your experiences?
So I definitely agree with everything you said. Yeah, you won't be treated any differently because you are there for the same reason. And also, I mean, I know finance, I was worried when I first started. You know, I'd gone from earning quite good money to a student loan. Don't worry about the student loan. Most people never pay it off. You know, and it's there to take you through it. So take as much, so have a look, find out everything you can claim for under student loan. Some of them you don't have to pay back, like the parent learning. I know there's a talk on it later.
From the chat, it doesn't seem that the Fabs one has been as chaotic.
Laura, could you mute, please?
That's not to say it isn't, but you know, there's not been so many messages about that one.
Laura, could you mute, please? Thank you.
And then FSC work shouldn't be too busy.
Right, Laura, could you mute, please? Laura, could you mute, please?
But there might be a few more people, because pharmacy's quite a big room, so
Laura,
it'll be all right.
could you mute, please?
If they can let, I mean, I'm sure they've thought about it, but if they can let them select their own.
Amy, could you contact Laura for me, please? Okay, sorry about that, people.
So yeah, it's finance. Don't worry about it. You've got the experience throughout your life about budgeting, so yeah, you get this big lump sum every 3 months. Okay. The easiest thing to do is just split it down into 3 different segments. Also, there are part-time jobs available at university, so that's another option. Yeah, I would always say put education first, because that's what you want to do. So make sure your main commitment is to education. But if you've got time for part-time job, there's that as well. And again, I'm just going to repeat. Please don't let being a mature student put you off. Any worries or concerns, you'll be at a massive benefit, and I won't repeat that anymore.
Okay. So, surviving your studies. So we've come up with some of our top tips. Bear with me. It's going a little bit slow. Jeff, would you like to talk about this one?
Yeah, so
And then I'll add in my bits.
okay, so because I'm a mature student again, I've learned the benefits of organizing your time. So there's three main elements to organizing your time. The first one, which probably sounds a bit strange, is personal time. You do need some downtime. So whether you're going to take, I don't know, 5 minutes to go and do a drawing, or 10 minutes to watch, set aside an hour between lectures or workshops to go and do something fun or a hobby, or just go and watch a bit of TV to binge out and just relax a bit. The second most important thing is to make sure that when you're organizing your work, I use OneNote, which is part of Microsoft Teams or Microsoft Suite, and I make sure that I've got all the modules listed down. And for each module, I've got dividers, and I make sure that I take full and comprehensive notes. The reason I do it is I type it because my writing is illegible at the best of times. So I can go back and say, right, I had a lecture on 6CS00 whatever. Oh yeah, that's what the module's about. That's what we discussed on this day. And when you come to revise at the end of the semester, you've got all your notes and you've got all your details in front of you, and it makes revision so much better. So the number one top tip I can give you for organizing your notes is make sure you do organize them, and make sure that you subcategorize it. So you don't want all the notes in one page, because you'll never find the one that relates to each module. And just make sure that the notes they don't have to be word for word, because that doesn't work, but key points, golden nuggets, put them down in your notes. And when it comes to revision, those golden nuggets are really going to help.
Shaquille, is there anything you would like to add to that?
Just as Jeff said, on taking notes, I think if you've got a handy phone or laptop or whatever, you can print screen or screenshot or take a picture, so you don't have to note it all down. Also, if you got a handy phone, you can take a lot of notes on your phone at the same time as watching a lecture on your phone, for example. Or it's down to organization, really. I think a lot of you may have these skills already, but you do need to separate things mentally in your mind and plan separations and make sure you have a study space to take notes and good facilities. That's all I'd add, really.
Okay. The thing I'd add to that is that I used lecture notes and note shelf. As I was getting folders, I was running out of storage space, so I took the plunge and went into the digital world. I also found it useful. Mine had a scribe, so I could scribe on my tablet, and I could make notes on the PowerPoint slide. Okay, managing family and work. Jeff, I think I originally had you down for this one. Again, would you like to have a chat about this one? Then I'll follow.
That's fine. So I've got a young family. So I've got a 10-year-old and a 6, almost 7-year-old. So studying from home is quite difficult, because obviously with the school shut down, they're running around the house playing games. So one top tip is to find somewhere quiet, somewhere that you can go away and just get that study time. At the moment, there's a gazebo in the back garden, which is really, really great unless it's too cold. But I always make sure I can get away from them, and just to make sure I've got that quiet time. You need to make sure that you've got your commitment from your partner, wife, husband, whatever it might be, because they're also invested in this, and they need to know what's happening. So you can say to them, unfortunately, I've got an online lecture from 10 to 11. Can you go out and do the shopping? Don't be as rude as that, but just whether they want to go upstairs and watch TV, or just so that you've got that time and place, but the rest of the time you spend it with them. So I do actually also work as well. So my line managers, all of them, have always said, number one priority is your study. Yeah, if work comes between you and your study comes first, and then you can work around that whenever you can. So when it comes to the end of term and you hand in all your assessments, assignments, whatever, I always let them know that, look, I won't be able to do it this much work this week because of X, Y, and Z. My line managers, they're all University of Wolverhampton ones, have always been exceptional with that and say, look, don't worry about that. If you can only do 1 hour per week, just check your emails. That is absolutely fine. So those are my top tips, really. Make sure you liaise with your family. Try and find a quiet
Shaquille, is there
space.
anything you would like to add? No, sorry, Jeff. I think my internet dropped out there. I think
No,
I
that's
may
fine.
cut in.
No problem.
Shaquille, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, the only thing I'd add is, as Jeff said, it's kind of down to your personal situation. So you need to kind of step back, analyze how you can work around things and rejig your situation, because it's all personal. It all depends. The thing for me was cutting out distractions. So things like social media or TV or a console or whatever. I find you really need to minimize your distractions and have a solid block of time to do any work, because that's the only way you can get things done. Sometimes you can't be chopping and changing because it's quite hard mentally to focus. So I'd say just bear that in mind. Any distractions, find your best way to minimize them. That's all I'd say.
I would second that, Shaquille. I'm a working mum. I was a working mum when I was doing my first dissertation. And we've all got our odd places where we like to study. Now, my usual one is sat on the sofa. That's my comfy spot. It's where I'm happy. But there was sometimes when the distractions of home got a little bit too much. So luckily, one of my friends used to say to me, come to my house. I'll come and sit in my dining room. I'll pass you cups of coffee, or pass you some food underneath the door. So she used to do that for me. But if I found sometimes I would book a space in the learning centre. Now at the learning centre, that's great because you can book a room. But it depends on your learning style as well. Some people like a little bit of noise in the background. Some people can't have any noise. So it's all down to you, really. I had to do exams, and I found when I needed to, I used my flexi time or annual leave to allow me to study. And certainly when you're coming up to your dissertation, and I know your dissertation could be a while off, I booked 2 weeks annual leave around the time that my dissertation was going to be handed in. So that meant I could concentrate and I wasn't worrying about work. Okay, so looking after yourself. So I will pick this one up. First of all, it's important to look after yourself and do the things that keep you physically and mentally well. Now, exercise is a very good stress reliever, and during my studies I took up ballet, adult ballet. Now, I'll never be Margot Fontaine, but I found it was great for a bit of mindfulness, to put me into that moment and to recognize when you may need a rest. Sometimes you just can't do it anymore. Take a break, but don't push the books away for too long. Bring the books back to you and make sure that you come back to your studies. You can access free self-help resources from the students' support and well-being. And if you are having any mental health issues, there is Together All, which is a free digital service to our students. Jeff, would you like to let us know what you did to keep well during your studies?
Yeah, I used to like skiing, but unfortunately we haven't any snow, so I've had to bin that. I used to enjoy running. I've got a bit of bad back at the moment, but as soon as that's better, I will go for a run. 30 minutes every other day. Walks are sometimes very, very good, just to clear your head, get out in the fresh air, see some greenery. Anything just to get out of the house. I know with the pandemic you had to be careful, but exercise is okay. Just be mindful that you need your own time, you need your own space as well, and get out there. So yeah, you have to look after. So you are the most important person that's studying at university at the moment. So you need to make sure you look after yourself, and that's basically it, really.
Okay. Shaquille, would you like to add anything at all?
Yeah, I second everything that you say. Make sure you get some exercise in, whatever's your flavour. You don't have to go to the gym, even though they're shut, but not everyone's a gym person. You can do anything, dance or running or anything. And also make sure you eat healthy, you know what I'm saying? You are what you eat, some people say. Make sure you have a good diet, because I know from eating a good diet that when I do have bad food, it does change your mentality and it does slow you down. So that's how I choose to look after myself. And also, secondly, read a lot, do a lot of reading, fictional, non-fictional, any self-development books is always going to keep you in check. It's a constant reminder that, oh, I can do this to improve all. And when you start working on yourself, it does help your studies as well, because the more reading you do, the more knowledge you pick up. It's only going to benefit you throughout your course as well as your course. So yeah, just carry on learning anything you're interested in, just carry on doing it.
Okay. I'm just coming back to, I was just answering a few questions in chat. So I'm now going to come back. Okay. Jeff, would you I think you have plenty to say on attending the lectures.
Yeah. So the number of people, I've got several roles at university, so I'm a school rep and a course rep. A number of times I have people come up to me and say, look, I didn't get a very good score in my exam. Well, did you attend your lectures? No. Well, that could be a reason. The lectures are there to give you the theory. You need to attend them, because once you've got the theory in your head, then you can, answer exam questions or the assessment questions or whatever. You do need to attend these lectures. Are there for a reason, to pass that knowledge on to you. Don't be afraid of turning up to them, because I found all the lecturers, they got real industry experience, and they're not, for want of a better word, stuck up or anything. They're very approachable. They want you to do the very best you can do. So short of giving you the answer, which they won't do and they shouldn't do, is they will support you and they will help you and they'll talk you through complex issues to make sure you understand, and to make sure when you put in your own notes that when you refer back to it, you can understand what's been said. So the last thing you want to do is leave things last minute, not attend your lectures, not attend workshops, and suddenly come to the end of term and think, oh, I better do the assessment, because you're putting extra weight on yourself. You're making it harder for yourself. And the last thing you want to do is put all that stress on you for the last week of term and put all the extra expectations on you, when just by attending the lectures, which aren't that odious, they're not that long, and there's not that many of them, just by attending the lectures to make sure you're organized and attend them on a regular basis, you take all that knowledge in, you come to the end of the term, and you breeze through the exam because you've taken all that on board. It's so important that you do that, because as I've got so many questions about it. Well, why can't I pass? What can I do? So just to give you an example, on my first year, I had per semester. I had 3 2-hour lectures per week and 3 2-hour workshops per week. I did a lot of studying at home, because that's where your maturity, you want to put the extra effort in. So the actual hours in lectures and workshops aren't that high. What does bump up the time is putting yourself, your work, so researching, checking the answers, doing things like that. But I'd say all I can do is, if you don't attend the lectures, A, you're not going to get the score or the result at the end of it, and B, you're going to make it harder for yourself. One thing that I'll leave you with is an age-old adage: the more you put in, the more you'll get out, and that's the core of it, really. Thanks.
Shaquille, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Just to second what Jeff said, what you put in is what you get out. Lectures are a part of university. Why wouldn't you go to them? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's all I can say.
When I was a student, I made a rookie error. I forgot that half term, kids' half term, does not coincide with students' holiday, and I actually managed to fall behind a couple of weeks. The key thing is that I worked extremely hard to make up the time I lost, because the longer you leave it to make up, the worse that it's more difficult for you. So I would say be aware of your children's holidays and of when university vacations are. Don't make a slip up, because the children's holiday will not always coincide with university holidays as well. Have you ever come across that, Jeff, where you slipped up with the kids? Yeah, we've all done it.
And then you suddenly have to rush around trying to find, oh my God, what do I do? Luckily, my wife is very useful in that respect, because she doesn't currently work. So I am lucky in that respect.
Okay, lovely. I'm coming back to the presentation. Okay, this is about our support works within the university. As a mature student, there are lots of support networks that you can access, and these can include the academic skills workshops. Many of you may not have done any academic work since you've left school, and the workshops, they're based in the Learning Centre. They will help you give advice on how to write essays, referencing, how to use our referencing software RefWorks, which is a wonderful tool for actually organising how to reference your assignments. And also they'll help you with any study skills gaps that you've got. Your personal tutors, they're brilliant. They can offer you general signposting, advice, and as student advisors, if you are having problems with your program, if you find yourself in the position where you're having to do retakes, resits, or you've got extenuating circumstances, they're great people to help you and to help you find your way. Now, I'm a student that hadn't touched algebra since I left school at the age of 16, and I found I had to do algebra within my course. I found the Maths Support Centre really, really good. They're non-judgmental. Just because you haven't touched it at 16, don't think they're going to think that you're silly and you should know it. Absolutely not. They will help you. They will help you with some of your maths problems that you may be having. If you're having problems in your everyday life, our student support centres will help you, and health and wellbeing, and there is counselling available. Students' Union are very good for general advice and guidance if you're having problems with housing or finance advice. And your academic coaches, they can help you if you are struggling with some of your content within your lectures. Jeff, is there anything you'd like to add on that one?
Yeah, so as with life, concerns, problems, issues do crop up. The best advice I can give you is don't leave it to the last minute. As soon as you think, oh, I'm struggling with maths, which I did, because like Gina, I hadn't been to school for a while. Yeah, don't leave it to the last minute. There is so much support out there. There's so many people that are willing to help you. There's no reason to leave it to the last minute, and it's going to make it easy for you if you identify an issue, get in touch with the right people straight away, and they can actually ease the transition as you get further into learning. So just don't leave it to the last minute.
Shaquille, is there anything you'd like to add on there?
Yeah, I think I would agree. For example, I study drama and I didn't do drama when I haven't done anything in drama since I left school. and I come back to it doing drama, and I did feel a bit rusty. I did feel a bit like, oh, am I still good? Can I still do it? So it's not that kind of judgmental environment. They are supportive. They're understanding of your situation, and it's not what you think. You know what I mean? A lot of self-doubting opinions are in your own head. It doesn't correlate with everyone else. Yeah, the only thing I'd say is if you do struggle in any capacity, you owe it to yourself to reach out to your friend, reach out to a classmate, reach out to the year above, lecturer, anyone, and they'll point you in the right, you'll get to the right point or direction in the end. You owe it to yourself to reach out, really.
Okay, lovely. Jeff, support networks with fellow students.
Yes, so students are the first port of call because you're working with them on a daily basis. So if you're a bit stuck on something, not the complex theories that the academics are showing you, but you think, oh, I'm not quite sure what to do, you don't want to ask the question, your students are there to support you. You'll find the students are very, very helpful. They want to help you because they want everyone in that cohort class to succeed. So just ask them. Then we go up a bit. So within the Students' Union, you've got course reps. So if you've got any issues or concerns with your course and you're not happy with things are going, the university are brilliant. They want to make sure that your student experience is best possible student experience. They're very, very open to constructive feedback. They love positive feedback. So if you are, just speak your mind constructively, of course. So tell your course rep. If your course rep can't do anything about it, they can escalate it to someone like myself, who's a school rep. Now the school reps have got, I think we have monthly meetings with all your senior academics, senior lecturers. We're on all sorts of boards. We can put forward your comments and concerns, and I can guarantee you the university do listen, because the number of changes put in last year was exceptional. Doesn't mean they can always do everything, because I had a student last year said, can I have a free Starbucks every day? Well, no, because it's going to cost too much. So if it's a silly suggestion, it might not go ahead. But they'll always come back and say, no, we can't do it because of X, Y, and Z. So you should never feel lonely because you've got all these students around you. You've got course reps, student reps. Then you've got your student union officers that can go up. Then you've got all the university support as well. So you've not only got student union support, you've got university support. So if you're in your first year and as a third year student, you probably get to know who they are. Just ask them, what was the first year like? Yeah, can you give me any tips? They can't do the work for you and they won't do the work for you, but they're more than willing to give you hints, tips, advice, just to make your transition to first year and then onwards, second and third year easier. I've been in work, I've been for a large company, 65,000 people plus, and I've never met such a helpful bunch in my life, because you got someone in the canteen over coffee, Starbucks, before the pandemic, and say, look, I'm struggling a bit with this. And even for a different course, they'll say, well, have you tried this? Or have you gone to this place? Or, it's just, you'll never be alone. And the only thing I'd leave you with is use these support networks. Feedback to your course reps, feedback to your student reps. If you're not happy with something, say something about it, because it might be able to change. As with every organisation, although we do very, very well at the university, no one is perfect and no organisation is perfect. Sometimes there is a better way of doing it, particularly with pandemic. The number of changes that have been done during the time, like now, when we first did the lectures online, the academic staff generally didn't have the camera on, and we fed back to them that, look, without that camera on, there's a disconnect between yourself and us, because we can't see you, can't see your facial expressions. They put that on, so that's good feedback, positive feedback that's come up with a decent resolution at the end of it. And now the academics are saying, oh yeah, the engagement's so much better. So it's a two-way street. So please do use all your support networks. We're here to help you, not to hinder. Cheers.
I think I found as a mature student, I couldn't exactly get involved with a lot of the social aspect of it, because of doing studies, working, and then coming home, looking after the kids. Shaquille and Jeff, how do you find the social aspect of it?
I'd say this. I'm not a particularly social person. I going out to pubs and things like that. I prefer the more intellectual stuff. So
That's fine.
I'll meet up with people and we'll talk about things like that. But because I'm a mature student, I've never been to the party thing. I just prefer to talk to people and more like that. But again, you're connecting with people, and I just find that so invaluable, really.
Shaquille, what about yourself?
Yeah, so for me, I'm classed as a mature student, but I'm still young enough to know what's happening with the kids and the youth and stuff. So it was quite easy for me to get involved in social aspects and go to parties when there was parties and stuff like that. I wasn't too out of place, even though I am bald, and certain people was like, "Are you older than?" Yeah. So, but no, I still got along fine. And for example, in my course, there's people that are older than me, like 30 plus, and they still even had a good social gatherings with students that are like 20, 18, because they're connected in different ways. And I know they still meet up and talk and socialize. So age is not such a big thing in university. A lot of people are open-minded, so you still can have a social life. 100% sure.
I apologise. I think my internet is a bit unstable, so we're now going to move on to ask the panel. Now I know that there's some questions within the Q&A, so I'll stop sharing my screen now, and I'm going to look at some of the questions we've had in the Q&A, if that's okay. Okay. So one of the questions we've had is, when are the university's holidays? I think that's by Victoria. Victoria, if you go onto the university's website, you'll find the academic calendar, and that will give you a breakdown of when the assessment weeks are and when the university's vacations are. But as a general rule of thumb, there is no October. Usually your kids will have a half term in October, usually one around February time. You will not get a holiday during the February and October time, but you will get the Easter breaks, and you'll tend to find you'll finish university early June. So that's way before the children's school holidays. The next question we have: how does university support mature students with anxiety, with mental health issues due to COVID? Yes, I did mention this in a previous slide, that we have a digital service called Togetherall, and that's a 24/7, 24-hour, 7-day service to help students. I think we've done that one. So I hope that's answered it, Alyssa. Are lectures recorded? Jeff and Shaquille, could you give your, I found as a distance learning student, my lectures were, but as a non-face campus student, could you give your perspective on that one?
So both blended learning, which we're doing at the moment, and lectures on campus, we use a system called Panopto. So yes, all the all the lectures are recorded. So if you're ill or poorly or can't attend for whatever reason, you can go back and watch them.
Okay, brilliant. It was definitely recorded for mine. I'm not sure this is the right, Isabella. This is the room for mature students, and it's mature students across all subjects. So it's general mature student life. Ooh, do students look at more favourably at mature students? I think universities recognise that mature students have a lot to offer, and on most courses they can be flexible on the entry requirements for courses. But some courses are professional courses, and they are can be very strict on the entry requirements. I hope that's answered your question, but universities do recognise that mature students bring a lot of skills into the classroom. Okay, the issue, I believe, Jeff, could you help on this one about what the issue have been giving during the pandemic?
Certainly. I mean, my calendar is chock-a-block full with virtual events. So there's baking events, there's cooking events, there's reading events, there's movie nights, there's quiz nights. Because we're having to do everything socially distanced at the moment, most of it is all online, but there is an awful lot going on. I mean, during the day, there's, pet talks, there's petting or get to know snakes and bizarre things like that. The university's also got lots and lots of societies which you can join, and they have their own separate meetings, but there is always something going on, and the evenings are always chock-a-block full with things like, I say, movie nights. I think someone has a Netflix account. You'll log on to one group and watch Netflix. You can have a chat with each other. There's the quiz nights, there's baking, there's everything you can think of, really.
From Nikki, do you have any advice on the interviews? It depends on what course that you are applying for, but as a general rule of thumb, I would say, if you're looking at a particular career that it's going to lead to, and I'm going to pick nursing here because it's a common one, think about the common attributes that that nurse would have, and look at your own attributes, your own values, and bring those into the interview. Think about why you want to do that course, make sure it's clear. And also you can talk about what you would bring into that course as a mature student. What skills do you bring? Could be your problem solving, team working. Also draw on your work experience as well. What have you been doing out in the workforce that you could bring into an interview? Nikki, I realise that is very general because I'm unsure what course you're applying for. Okay. Are mature students allowed to live in halls of residence during periods of term times? We would suggest contacting our colleagues in accommodation, but I understand you can have 52-week leases in accommodation, so that you don't have to go home between term times. But please see our accommodation pages. They are the experts on that particular one. Is it hard work with more young students in the group? Okay, I would say you've all got a common aim, and sometimes as a mature student you have got skills that will help other people work together, and you're able to find you can do this in a very tactful way as well, because you've got the people skills that you've built up in the workplace. Jeff, would you like to add anything to this?
Just add to that. So it's not any more difficult, any less difficult. What you can rely on is your skills, because you've got the life skills. I often find younger people, I'm not tying everyone the same brush on, they can get a bit distracted and not quite know what to do. As a more mature person, you can step in there, tactfully and politely, well, let's try this, let's do this. And those life experience, those life skills really, really help you. So I wouldn't say it's any more difficult, it's just your life skills really do help you.
Childcare support. You can get childcare support, financial support from Student Finance England, Naomi, where you can get a grant to help towards an Ofsted approved supplier. Unfortunately, at the moment, the university doesn't have a nursery. If you're looking for childcare, you can look at childcare.co.uk website, and that will help you search for a childcare provider. Please note that we don't make any recommendations from that site. We just suggest you have a look at it. Do I have any advice for families? Do you get help financially? You can get a maintenance grant from Student Finance England. You've got help with times of study and placements, Alison. I'm assuming that's finance. If you are a nursing student, you can also access the NHS grant to help with that. Okay. Nikki, I hope you're okay with your answer. If you want to contact the Gateway, we can offer you further advice on interviews. Okay. Okay. This is Tracy. I understand that you've applied to the university. Can I suggest you contact our colleagues in admissions to find out the progress of your application? If you contact admissions at wlv.ac.uk, they should be able to help you. Okay. In terms of social work, the placements, we suggest that you contact the course team specialists. They will be able to help you with letting you know where these placements are based. If you need further help, Sandra, can I ask you to contact the Gateway email after the event, and we'll be able to point you in the right direction. So that's gateway@wlv.ac.uk. Okay, have we any more questions? I realise I'm rattling through these questions really, really quickly. Do we have to, or is it no? Michaela, you have to apply for the NHS bursary yourself, and you do this from the NHS bursary page. If you need further help regarding finance, again, our colleagues in the Gateway be able to help you.
I think we've just got time for one more from Megan. Any advice if you have an employer who isn't supportive of applying to university for such things as interview dates and so forth?
I would recommend taking any annual leave that you've got, or contacting the tutor to see whether they would, admissions, to see whether they would be willing to do something out of hours. Obviously, for something like nursing and midwifery and social work, it can be a little bit tricky. And I understand that Laura would like to answer that question as well.
Hi Gina, sorry, I was just doing that to close it out once you finish the question, so I do apologise.
That's fine. Okay then. I think we've finished today. I hope that this session has been some use for you, and it's given you an insight on what it's like to be a mature student. I hope that's been helpful, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. There's lots more going on. There's lots more going on today, so I'll just post the link so that you can find out. But thank you, Gina.
You're welcome.
And thank you to our students as well. You've been great.
All the best for the future for your learning.
Thank you. All the best, everybody.